Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, we love to talk about crowdfunding. Specifically today, we're getting to the pricing when it comes to Patreon. What does it cost you to do one of these Patreon campaigns when it comes to subscription-based crowdfunding? Maybe you're doing it for a podcast, for your YouTube channel, for something creative, your art, your drawing, your writing, whatever it is. We almost have like a renaissance which is going on. We got Leonardo da Vinci's, right, that are in my audience, and I love that about you guys. So we're gonna be getting into that today. We'll get down to the brass tacks of what goes into actually doing one of these campaigns from a pricing standpoint and kind of just cut through some of the marketing guff. So I love to talk about crowdfunding on this channel. We talk about Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Patreon, which is subscription-based crowdfunding. We talk about equity crowdfunding, nonprofit fundraising, nonprofit crowdfunding. It's bananas. So I hope that you enjoy this video and let's get right into it. All right, man, so I am super excited to do this video here today. And for those of you that don't know, again, my name is Salvador Briggman. And if you have been watching some of my other videos, please give me a thumbs up because it does help the YouTube algorithm. Now, I am so freaking passionate about crowdfunding, and I've really been studying this since 2012, when I was in school. And one of the things in school, I actually really didn't like going to school, honestly, very much. But I went to George Washington University in Washington, D.C., and I took a lot of econ classes, right, when I was in school. One of the things we talk about is doing a cost-benefit analysis. So you kind of want to think about that when it comes to this video. What are the costs of doing a Patreon campaign? What are the benefits? And at what point do the costs outweigh the benefits? And what makes sense for you? So I am platform agnostic, right? I'm platform agnostic. I don't care if you do a Patreon campaign. I don't care if you end up doing a traditional crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I don't care if you raise investment capital and you do an equity crowdfunding campaign. I don't work for any of these guys. I work for you. When it comes to my books, my coaching, my products, all that kind of stuff, they're really designed for creators just like you to help you turning your ideas into reality, turning your passion into profit. I'm working for you here, man. So I hope that you enjoy the video and let's get into it. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking me for a free course. I'm actually doing a free course. I'm gonna link that up down below, but let's get down to the pricing when it comes to Patreon, right? And I do talk about this more as well in this course. So first of all, when it comes to Patreon, what should you know? This is different from every other crowdfunding platform out there. And how is it different? They have kind of a gradual increase in the way in which they charge you as a creator. So I'm gonna go through the different tiers, talk a little bit about the benefits, and then kind of get into whether or not this makes sense for you. If that makes sense, does that sound good? All right, so the first tier, you're basically being able to, just cutting through the marketing guff, like honestly, right guys? You can basically just do a Patreon campaign. You can do a campaign on their platform, you can use their communication tools, you can run a campaign, you can see some very basic analytics about the lifetime value of your customers, etc. You can do a freaking campaign on patreon.com and they are charging you 5% of your income monthly for the ability to do that. And on top of that, they're also charging you a payment processing fee. So basically, in order to not have to set up your own website, how to figure out all this stuff when it comes to creating that site, having a campaign where people could actually do payment processing, etc., they are giving you that functionality, that ability to do that, and also their brand name as well, because people do support Patreon campaigns. It's gonna be easier if they're familiar with that brand. They're allowing you to do this for the sum of 5% when it comes to they're taking this on a monthly basis. So whether you're doing a per creation or a monthly basis, you're bringing in income, right? They're taking 5% of that, and that's the platform fee. And on top of that, there is credit card processing. So that's gonna be basically the light tier, the basic tier. That's what you're getting with the first tier. For those of you in my community that are hustlers, that are ambitious and really want to grow your career when it comes to being a creative type or being an artist, you might decide, you know what, that's not enough. I really want access to more, right? And that's kind of the next tier when it comes to the pro tier. So with the pro tier, we'll first get into a little bit of the benefits. With the pro tier, to me, the most important aspect of the pro tier is the fact that you can have limited promos or promos that have a limited duration, which you announce to your community. So this is something, a functionality that's available on the pro tier when it comes to Patreon. In addition, the more that you're going up basically with these tiers, the more functionality you're getting access to. So me, the most important one is the ability to do those promos or those limited time offerings, because when it comes to being a marketer, you basically have like different levers which you can pull, okay? So let's think that you have like one lever, you pull this lever and all of a sudden you're creating tons of urgency in people because it's a limited time offering. It's gonna expire at a certain point in time. And you pull this lever and all of a sudden you have a ton of people like rushing into your campaign. It's like really cool, right? So I talk about this and other levers that you can pull, right? When it comes to my free course, which I'll link up down below, my free course going into step-by-step how to do a Patreon campaign. Another lever which you can pull is the lever of scarcity. And scarcity again has that feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss out on this incredible opportunity or this incredible deal or something that's only gonna be there for a limited amount of time. So when you do these different promos, which are again available example, in this next tier, you can pull those different levers to get more people flowing into your campaign throughout the year as you kind of stagger these and think about these in a calculated way. In addition, you also get access to analytics. Now, analytics is so freaking important, man. That's really what I think is the next big thing when it comes to this particular tier. And here's why. When I first got started, I'm kind of like a ready, fire, aim guy, right? I'm shooting from the hip, right? I got a good intuitive sense a lot of times when it comes to marketing. However, I've learned over the years that just because I think that I have good intuition, and a lot of times I maybe am right, there are many times when I'm not right. And that's when it really behooves you to follow the data. So a really good marketer, isn't just like super confident with their skills and even with their experience. They're also combining that with looking at and analyzing data in real time. So when you have intuition and also data, your right and your left brain are working together in order to help you improve your campaign when it comes to doing a Patreon campaign, when it comes to doing subscription-based crowdfunding, when it comes to really growing your brand and getting more people excited about what it is that you're doing online. So the cool thing about this is that you're getting access to more data when it comes to your campaign, when it comes to your community, understanding these people so that way you can optimize your campaign. The next big things I would say when it comes to this tier is just the ability to have unlimited rewards. This is something that you might care about, particularly if you have a very big reward offering, which you're thinking about. And by rewards, I mean those membership tiers, which are included in that. To me, that's really the most important. And there are also obviously some different integrations that's a little bit more powerful when it comes to this middle tier. In exchange for all of that, you are giving away 8% of your earnings on a monthly basis, and as well, on top of that, payment processing. So the first tier that we talked about was 5%. This one is 8%. You're getting more functionality, and Patreon obviously knows how valuable that functionality is when it comes to data and analytics, and also the ability to pull those two levers of urgency and scarcity in order to get people taking action. And for that, they are charging a higher fee at 8% of your earnings on a monthly basis, plus credit card processing.
Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? FulfillRite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from FulfillRite today. Link in the description.
The next pricing model when it comes to Patreon, and again, you can basically choose from these different ones. And I'm just gonna kind of cut through the BS here and just tell you what I think about this next model. So this next one is basically you're getting access to two major things. One is the ability to sell merch and to do it in a very white label, easy to fill, logistical fashion. Very easy when it comes to fulfilling merch in that way. And you can basically create different stuff when it comes to your brand, right? Whether that's kind of knick-knack things or whatever it is that you want to give to create a kind of a feeling of ownership among your community, to solidify that. And people love merch, obviously, if they're supporting YouTubers or podcasters and those kinds of channels. So you have the ability to do merch. You also get a dedicated manager or support person who's kind of giving you a little bit of advice and that kind of stuff. And in exchange for that, you're giving away 12% of your overall earnings on a monthly basis to Patreon. The other thing I would add is that you can also involve team members when it comes to your Patreon campaign, which can be very powerful if you're growing as a community. So that's really the next big tier, I'd say, when it comes to this next tier. You're giving away 12% again. And on top of that, you also have payment processing. So first of all, these are kind of the way that the tiers are staggered is based on a platform fee, which gradually increases. And in every single platform fee, you are giving away a certain degree when it comes to credit card processing. All right, man. So let's just talk a little bit about what makes sense. So now that you understand a little bit of the pricing, and obviously this is always being updated, so make sure you check out my free course down below where I have my most cutting edge updated material and content step-by-step going through how to actually do one of these campaigns. I also have an incredible tutorial there, tons of stuff, advice, tips, things that are proven to work when it comes to getting you actual Patreons to support your project, which is actually kind of, I think, a little bit nerve-wracking, right? If you're first time doing something, you might be a passionate mofo like me and really be about your craft and trying to really make this something that's your full-time gig. But at the same time, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, right? So if you have more strategies that you can work off of, it makes it so much easier because you can depend on these to actually get you patrons, to get you traffic, to get people becoming a part of your community, and most importantly, staying a part of your community. So make sure to go and check out that free course link down below. All right, so what do I think about this? Well, first of all, so you can do a very simple cost benefit analysis, and I recommend doing that in Excel if you want to, or you can just pull out the handy dandy calculator. You can get a sense. I'd say a lot of creators, say doing like $2,500 a month, and we'll just say at 8%, they're charging about $200 a month to have access to that platform and that software. In my opinion, it can make sense, particularly if you don't want to deal with any of the technology and all of the headaches that go to that. But if you begin to grow and grow and grow, so does the amount amount as well that you're giving away to the platform. So make sure that it makes sense for you and also your ultimate goals as a creator. For those of you out there that are beginners, and by beginners, I mean you're just kind of growing online, you're just kind of starting and you haven't really monetized your community very much yet. First of all, you should definitely book a one-on-one coaching call with me because you can really help when it comes to just getting started with this. This is really something where you can grow over time into a massive following. So definitely would recommend checking out some of the links down below. But in addition, when it comes to you, I think that the most important thing is to just get started. And I'm gonna say that because I think that's actually the number one thing that's holding back most of the students that I've worked with over the years, and that they're just always comparing, always thinking, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? It's so important for you to just get started, right? So I do think it makes a lot of sense if you are the beginner to really start on Patreon. Why not, first of all? And second of all, the sooner that you can begin to actually do this and start generating some recurring revenue, it becomes way less scary. It's like, oh my gosh, I can actually do this. I can actually make money from the internet, right? And the first time that happens, it's like, it's exciting. It's like you never thought that was possible, right? So I think it's so important just to get started and not to think so much about the technical elements when it comes to doing a subscription-based crowdfunding campaign on this website or that website, or if you want more of a lump sum, doing a Kickstarter campaign or doing an equity crowdfunding campaign if you want to raise capital. At this point in time, you just gotta get started. And if Patreon caught your eye and you really want to offer that kind of a membership community, I think it's a no-brainer, literally just to get started. So that way you can begin to actually generate some revenue, some recurring revenue. You can begin to have some actual fans. And then from there, you can begin to make more informed decisions going forward. Okay, so what I'm saying flies in the face of a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there love to have you color in the lines and like, you gotta plan this all out. You gotta have a business plan. You gotta put down tons and tons of work, really analyze this from many different angles and to really think what is the ultimate best decision. I'm not like that. And that's because of the results that I've seen with my coaching students and many of the people around the world. I've literally coached like thousands of people at this point in time. People who have seen my videos, podcasts, everything, right? The number one thing that holds people back is not that they're not smart. Like I'd say the majority of people that I work with are intelligent enough to do a campaign and they're already usually good at their craft, which is the most important thing. What holds people back is analysis paralysis, right? They're overthinking it. They're never taking action. They're afraid. Okay? And this is why I recommend this. So it might be different than other experts that are out there. Other experts might be like, you should do your homework, you should do this, you should do that. And I do think that's important, but there is a point in time when you gotta buckle down and you gotta take some action. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Really enjoy talking with you about this subject. And if you enjoy it as well, please give me a thumbs up on this video. Come subscribe to this channel for more content just like this. Links down below, and I will see you next time.